Today's professional salespeople bridge the gap between a company and its customers by performing important functions. Warehouses bustle with activity when salespeople are successful. And when salespeople effectively move potential customers through the buying process, everyone benefits, including the customer. Salespeople represent the whole company to customers. When an engineer designs a product, it may be the salesperson who explains that design to a customer. When the distribution center assembles an order for shipment, it may be a salesperson who informs the customer about the transportation and delivery of the order. A salesperson's ultimate goal is to build mutually beneficial relationships with customers that, over time, result in higher sales levels and valuable customer referrals. Representation also works in reverse. Salespeople represent customers too, bringing their needs and wants, problems and solutions back to others in the company. This becomes marketing information that can be used to change product offerings and other types of marketing decisions in the areas of communication, pricing, and distribution. Joe Matten of Johnson & Johnson's Vistakon division explains the important functions that salespeople play in his company.
Salespeople are important because they fulfill a number of functions that are critical to a company's success. These are representing, relationship building, marketing information, helping customers, and strategy planning. At Johnson & Johnson Vision Care, our customers, the doctor and the staff that prescribes the product and supports the use of our products. Sales professionals represent our company through two ways, through face-to-face contact and telephone coverage. Our field sales force is able to make in-person sales calls while the inside sales department reaches geographically dispersed customers via the phone. In either case, both customers demand a high level of professional support. Simply put, our sales reps are the face of the company, and they play a vital role in developing and expanding customer value. At Johnson & Johnson Vision Care, our sales reps build customer value through a variety of means. They educate our customers by sharing company-approved product and third-party clinical data. But they also provide patient education materials and a modest supply of product samples and trials as well. The function of representing really supports the role of helping the customer. Now, in terms of relationship building, our sales reps develop rich relationships over the course of their tenure with the company. Having good products is important, but a rep's true success depends on relationships with the end customer. People want to do business with people they trust and respect, so relationships are a vital component to the process of professional selling. Professional salespeople are also effective at feeding marketing information back to the company because of their proximity to the customer. At J&J, we use a customer relationship management system to relay industry and product information back to the home office. This information is designed to help our sales reps for future training and marketing programs. In addition, we often involve our people in strategy discussions to ensure that our approach is seen as relevant and helpful to the customer. Now, to borrow from a sports analogy, the sales reps, they supply detailed information back to the press box so that they can see what's going on in the field.
Salespeople fulfill these roles by engaging in three tasks: order getting, either from new customers or from existing customers; order taking, or maintaining relationships with established customers to facilitate repeat sales; and supporting, which entail activities designed to support the sales of a product. Supporting activities do not necessarily lead directly to a sale. Order getters, like this salesperson, are concerned with establishing relationships with new customers and developing new business. They prospect or look for potential buyers through various means such as telemarketing, referrals from satisfied customers, business directories, or working at trade shows. Once they find someone who may have a need for their product, they work with the buyer to understand the benefits sought. Then they present a solution and ask for the sale. Order takers facilitate sales transactions in situations where customers know what they want to buy. They often assist customers over the phone, taking order information and payment information. Supporting salespeople are those who work with influencers, people who influence what others buy. This salesperson is working with a retailer to plan for an upcoming sale. The salesperson, also called a trade rep because retailers are called the trade, is assisting by providing advertising materials, in-store promotional displays, and by determining an appropriate amount to order so that the store doesn't run out during the sale. Helping a buyer get the most out of the product's promotional plan is a key responsibility for trade reps. A salesperson who makes sure that a customer is happy not only has a better chance of keeping that customer in the future, that salesperson also is likely to enjoy referrals and build a positive reputation that makes future sales easier. Salespeople represent their customers back to the company too. When salespeople are talking with customers, they learn about new needs and may be the first to hear about a new competitor's product, a lower price, or some other competitive action. Companies who listen closely to what their salespeople report can learn quite a bit about what's happening. Salespeople can be a company's early warning system for changing market conditions. Salespeople, then, are important to businesses because they fulfill several roles. Salespeople sell products, which has important financial implications for companies. The old adage that nothing happens until someone sells something is true. They educate buyers and assist them in making purchase decisions. They also train buyers to use the product and follow up after the sale to make sure buyers are satisfied. And salespeople also report market information back to the company, providing insight into changing customer needs and competitors' actions. To really understand what salespeople do, let's listen as Erin Williams from the Johnson & Johnson Vistakon division illustrates consultative selling. She will start with her approach, or that part of the call where she introduces herself and her company. Today, she is calling on Stonewood Optometry, whom she telephoned earlier and made an appointment.
So tell me what Johnson & Johnson has right now as far as new products.
Okay. Well, I'd love to get into that, and thank you again, Dr. Boland, for taking the time to speak with me today. I really appreciate it. Johnson & Johnson Vision Care are the top products in vision care overall, have the highest brand recognition among consumers, and are backed by the largest research budget in the field. That's why so many practices like yours have turned to Vistakon to provide eye care products to their patients. We also provide customized marketing support. So I'd like to ask you a couple questions to find out about your needs. Is that okay?
Sure, fire away.
Thank you.
At this point, Erin is going to begin the needs identification phase, the part of the sales process where she begins to understand her client's needs, but also helps her to fully understand those needs.
Doctor, you mentioned that you've had some difficulty with patients understanding how to care for their contacts, and you think this might be causing some to abandon their contacts altogether. Therefore, stop wearing them and go back to their eyeglasses. Did I get that right?
Yes, Erin. I need better patient materials. What we give them now is not helpful at all. It's all text. And what they need is more visuals, more pictures, more graphics to understand.
I'm sure that if you did have something better that reduced patient abandonment of their contacts, that would improve their satisfaction. How would that improve your business as well?
I think the most important thing is that when someone stops wearing their contacts, they often blame us, and then they'll switch to another doctor. Plus, then that makes them less likely to recommend somebody to us, and this negatively affects my bottom line. I need referrals.
This is very true. You know, another thing I hear about is that problems with patient education also leads to more visits with the techs. Have you observed this in your practice?
Yes, I think patients return for adjustments, and that means more help, which means more patients in the office at one time to see the text. That means the appointments are shorter, they're overlapping in work, and it actually gives the techs much less time to spend with the patients when they need to be having more time explaining to them what they need to be doing to get it right.
So, what you're saying is better materials would cut down on return visits to the tech and make the time with the tech more effective. Is this correct?
Yes, better materials.
And I would imagine that that would then decrease the rate at which patients abandon contacts. Are there any other ways these factors might influence your office performance?
Once Erin has a solid understanding of her client's needs, she can then present an appropriate solution.
Let me show you what I've got.
Okay.
As you can see, our patient materials are very easy to understand. And we also can do staff trainings to help out in the office.
Yes. Now, this would be very helpful, especially with getting patients to stay with us for the continued care.
Notice how Erin not only presented the feature, but also described how it met her buyer's needs. She then asked her opinion. In this way, she can determine if the customer agrees that it is meeting her needs. Sometimes, though, buyers object to a portion of the presentation, like here.
But your contacts are more expensive than what I'm currently using, and I don't think my patients will accept that.
Dr. Bolin, it sounds like you want to provide your patients with the best value possible, and I know costs can become an issue from time to time. Can you elaborate on your cost concerns further?
Well, absolutely. Your product sells for about the same cost as the other brands, but the other brands have rebates that offset that cost, and that makes your competitors' products more appealing to my inline patient. They want to save money, and I don't have the time to argue with them about that.
So if I hear you right, doctor, you feel more comfortable recommending my competitors' lenses because they offer additional savings in the form of rebates. Is that correct?
Yes, I think that your products offer distinct clinical advantages. But in the end, it is my patients that want to save money as well.
Well, doctor, I'm happy to inform you that we have a new rebate offer on the #1 prescribed contact lens in the U.S. You will see that our new rebate makes our lenses even more affordable than before. Let me walk you through the rebate process.
Wonderful, because I can use this rebate with leverage with my patients, and I'm really happy you brought this to my attention today. I was not aware of that.
Good.
Salespeople are an essential part of today's customer-focused business. As you can see, salespeople help people make sound buying decisions by providing the information they need. But as we also saw, salespeople provide many important functions to organizations, their customers, and society. Salespeople are important because they sell products and build relationships with customers. When salespeople earn buyers' trust, information is shared that the organization can use to create more effective products. In addition, salespeople help customers make better decisions and use products more effectively. In many companies, the sales force is at the center of their marketing communications strategy because no other means of communication is as effective as person-to-person contact with customers.